in next ambulance we get a lot of waves from real ambulances. They don't realise the van's an ex-ambulance until they've pretty much gone past.
Might be the same one.
It's nice to give them a wave back.
That's another one that's waved at us.
This chapel's a cracking little place. It's on a little island. It's tidal locked, so you can only get onto it certain parts of the day. And it's pretty windy. There's Anglesey Circuit in the background there. And I stopped and filmed a few cormorants. Just fishing. Didn't see one catch one. But we'd come here specifically to try and see some seals. And as you'll see later on, we saw a total of about 5 over the couple of days we stayed here. But this little cormorant, he was just happily bobbing about. There he is. It's a lovely spot. We were able to park after waiting for the dog walkers etc. to go. I'm not sure the locals particularly like camper vans coming. Very important not to block the field access at the bottom of the track that leads to this island. This was cracking. This old winch here was a great foil for the sunset. You can see the string moving, that's Sam bouncing around. And there's his lead tied to it. But this was a gorgeous little spot in the evening. We had 2 very good sunsets on the 28th and 29th of October. There, those gates there. Don't ever block those off if you visit this. The farmer's in and out there like a yo-yo. And there were people being pretty inconsiderate during the day. Karen was doing a bit of embroidery.
The only use they have is to feed the birds.
You can walk around towards this inlet, this water inlet, outlet rather, from the local town. And it really is quite spectacular. As you see, the island's now completely tidal locked. One seal, look at that. Hello seal. Hello seal. Look at that. Got him. Whoops. There he's gone. I'm using quite an old JVC digital camcorder. It's got a 40 times optical zoom, and it does okay. I've recently bought myself a Sony camera which I'm looking forward to trying. He's watching, isn't he? Hello? Where's your friend then? There's the other one. These are oyster catchers are sitting out there. But, on a tripod this little camera does okay, but like most, the microphones are shocking in wind. There's no microphone input, and I do apologise for a lot of the wind noises on my videos, but I'm not really in a position to lash out lots of money on all sorts of equipment. Although I've recently bought this HM1 Zoom voice recorder that I'm using at the moment for this voiceover, and I may well try and do a better job with the audio on my video. 3. I'm not sure they're watching us. They seem to be looking this way. They're certainly looking at the land. But maybe they can see the dog. But it does seem to be looking directly at me, and I'm a long way away, at least 100 yards away. This is the outlet of the river that comes from the local town. So you can sort of get across there, but the majority of the walkers are on the other side. This is later in the afternoon, and so it was very, very windy, so I muted the microphone completely on the camera. It snowed only in the distance. And this pit here we photographed a little bit later on with somebody walking the dog just as the sun was setting. And it's a nice location. We're parked up round there. Sun was setting. One of the advantages of October is, you know, get good sunsets at a sensible time of the day. There's that person walking the dog right in the centre there. We actually had a frost the following morning. I could actually tell from the frost on the van where the doesn't show very well in this picture, but I could actually tell where the insulation wasn't too good. Again, tides out, taking it out to the island. Again, there's Anglesey in the background there. We did see a few cars going round, but I think this is now the morning 30th of October. Just the sound of oyster catchers. The waves breaking. Young calves with their mothers, just watching. Can't see the mothers. And just behind that ridge, the mountains of Snowdonia. What a brilliant place to stop. I just finished this section. Just some pictures of the beach. And Sam. Wondering why we're not going somewhere. Anywhere. He doesn't like standing still. Up here on the left, I put a caption just before it, but up here on the left there was one, maybe two fields with Shetlands in. We used to keep Shetlands. We had a couple here, but our land was too muddy, wasn't suitable. But you just if you stop the video, you'll see them, at least a dozen of them, just after the caption.
Elderly peoples. went in, I'll put it down. Right?
The reason that black car was going was because there was a red car right in front of it.
Yeah.
Literally up the spot.
There they are on the
All the
left.
Shetlands. Loads of Shetlands. Yay!
In a quarter of a mile, slight left.
Now just down this road there is a sign saying Jam Factory. We're actually following the sat-nav. And is that it?
Jam Factory.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's Jam Factory on the left.
Slight left. Then turn left.
And you're supposed to go left
Where's the
here.
Jam Factory?
I wasn't sure if this is an access or something to somebody's drive or private. Anyway, realised my mistake and did a left here after letting this car
Turn
cross in
left.
front of me.
Then turn left.
Look. Look at that. Look.
Yes, I am looking. I can't
You
miss
probably
it.
should have stopped and explored that
In a quarter of a mile,
if it's
turn
accessible.
right.
Oh. That's quite impressive.
We
isn't
didn't find the Jam Factory, but it is actually a lot further up this road. I looked at Google Maps and they seem to be they seem to produce honey.
it? Yeah.
But it was actually
Paying attention then.
at a junction on the right of the junction beyond this road. Extraordinarily straight
I don't think there's another.
piece of road and very well surfaced. Wazzy's a bit sensitive to potholes, especially the back. It's a bit wallowy.
Oh, there's that car going. Don't we? Buffer.
We have to go very, very slowly in some car parks.
That's a nice flat bit of road, look at that. So where's this Jam Factory? Probably says on the Park Night app, do not turn off at the Jam Factory.
Turn right.
Find the cat.
Cat. We're now heading out to a place called Bryn Aber. It's actually a building surrounded by a very large walled garden. It's being converted into an Airbnb or some sort of holiday let. But the wall, there's a very good notice board around the property explaining its history. But the walls surrounding the garden, 2-acre garden, are, well, they're almost fortified.
Mind you, it's going to be about a ton lighter.
This is the car park. It's tidal, it does flood. We thought about staying here the night, but the tide was coming in here, and I don't know how far it comes in, but trying to walk the dog even in 2 or 3 inches of water would have been pleasant. The forecast was crap for the following day anyway, so we spent the afternoon here before heading off inland and eventually going directly home. We hadn't intended to stay out more than 2 or 3 nights, and we'd already stayed out 3 nights. But the bay directly in front there has a very curved beach, great for letting the dog off because it was isolated by a lagoon. There's a contrast, the old and the new, the nuclear power station in the distance. Very windy, almost impossible to hold the camera steady without a tripod. There's Was in the car park, and there's the power station. Not particularly nice thing to look at, but we let the dog off on that spit of land to the left. There he is. Sam does tend to disappear, so somewhere like this where you've got a spit of land that's constrained by water means we can let him run, and I've got a reasonable chance of him not getting past us on the way back. But he loves his bunny hunting. His entire life revolves around bunny hunting. Don't think you're going to find many bunny holes buried in the rock though. You never know. We didn't see any seals here. We thought we might see seals here as well, but no. Well, if they were there, we didn't see them. And then we walked, as I said, along the beach to Cemlyn, or however you pronounce it, National Trust.
Here we are on the other side of the bay. We've just walked along that shale beach. There's a lagoon on the other side. It's an amazing place to come. Unfortunately, it's now clouding over. But there we are, we've just walked all the way along there, and we're now in the car park on the other side of this beach. No camping signs, no overnight, everything signs everywhere. No official status on them though. Could be just a local sign for all we know, but over there's no signs where we're parked at the moment, but we won't be parking here for tonight. It's very, very windy and a bit grey and grizzly, and I think we'll move on either inland or head for home. But it's an amazing place here. The dogs had a lovely walk along this shingle beach. Really very, very nice indeed.
There's the board I mentioned. It looks like a fort almost, but there is a house in there. A lot of information on that board. If you ever visit, it's well worth a read. It has the history of the owner.
You saw that little dog earlier on?
Look at the thickness of that wall. The sign says 1.2 metres thick or 1.5 metres thick, can't remember now. And over 1 million bricks used. That's the entrance to the house part, or a doorway to the house part, and then the main entrance through quite a large archway is just coming up on the left. It's got a gravelled access at the moment for all the builders that are working in there.
In a quarter of a mile.
Extraordinary place. A lot of potholes here, so I had to drive a bit carefully.
There's 2 car parks here.
There wasn't any television signal, which is part of the reason why we decided not to stay. I reckon there, and where that blue car is probably the levelest. But the road was, although it doesn't look it in these pictures, the road was very, very close, and it was a 60-mile-an-hour road. You know, there were people herring up there, and this site does have mixed reviews on Park for Night. Anyway, we had a change of plan. It was still relatively light, and we drove down the A5 to Betsy Coed, and I've done a separate video just of the dash cam footage down there because being October it was pretty.
I don't think we're going to get much TV signal though.
But for this video, this is where we end this trip. This was effectively our last stop on Anglesey. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.
So when the sun's not on these cameras, you can see them okay. We'll go put in that one there, yeah?